we back in. Eunice smile. Gorgeous.
Oh, thanks, babe. Okay. Now let's get Instagram right.
Mm-hmm. All right. We are in Chia.
Hello, everybody.
It's all over the place, but it's working. It'll be all right.
It's fine. Great
How's everybody
evening, great
doing? Good
evening, great evening.
Welcome. And
Hey, Bree.
Uncle
Hey,
Kev
Uncle
in the
Kev.
building. What's going on?
How's
Good.
it going?
Hope all is well. Hope everyone's being safe.
Yes, and healthy.
That what is it? What's it? The face mask? Face mask you got, Uncle, is hilarious.
I haven't seen it. What kind of face mask?
He got like this skeleton.
Y'all two
thing.
know y'all need y'all. No,
Hey.
I'm up here. I can see up close.
Listen, the only reason we don't have our glasses because of these lights. You just see
Yeah, the ring
ring.
light. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see the ring.
But you're right. We definitely need. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Speak for yourself.
Whatever. You have them on every other time.
I can see up close.
Yeah, but it's cool. You know, I get to rock it like I used to without the glasses. Now, see, I'm trying to hold it up on my hair situation here.
I'm just typing something on.
I got the got those clippers. I haven't really went in yet, but I've been trying to keep it clean. So now I'm gonna do my YouTube tutorials this weekend. So that should be pretty fun.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
I tapped ass long enough.
Tap dance.
All right. What's up, Bree?
Bree,
in the
Uncle
building.
Kev, and everybody else. Just making sure we can be seen. What, Bree? What's up with the faces?
This is
Why are you giving us those faces, Bree?
I'm not even messing with it.
Clayton's hair, LOL. Oh, like he did it himself or something?
I'm trying, I can't go to my barber, so I'm making it happen, man, trying to do what I can do in these streets. What's up,
gosh.
everybody? Let's
Yes,
get into it.
happy Tuesday, everyone. Like Cleet mentioned before, we hope you all have been staying safe. Continue to stay safe, stay healthy
Yep.
in these times. Thank you for joining us tonight. Before we get started, please like our live and share our live.
Yes, share it.
To your audiences, communities, whatever you have.
We're on Facebook, on our Branding Geeks page, on our personal pages, right? Both on our Facebook page, and then we're on our Branding Geeks on Instagram.
Right. So please share, and looking forward to speaking with y'all tonight briefly. Yeah, don't make that homemade cut no more.
Yeah, and then we got some exciting stuff to talk about tonight as far as content. So, as you know, I'm always chomping at the bit, ready to share. What you doing? You doing me?
I was moving it up.
Okay. So yeah, let's intro us in. Let's jump into it. I would love to have a good discussion and questions and everything, but let's jump into it.
Yeah, so today's live, we usually sometimes pick our live topics based on what we're experiencing this week, what we see in our clients, or what we're just seeing out there in industry, like what's going on that week. And this week, one thing that stuck out to us is the importance of having a content strategy for your business.
Yes.
Some of y'all might be asking, well, what the heck is a content strategy?
And why do I need it?
And why do I need a content strategy for my business?
Yeah.
Hey, Noreen.
Yeah, so, and this is something that's very common in the marketing world. Mm-hmm. It's like a everyday word for us, but we realize that's not necessarily the case with, hey, Pastor A in the building.
Pastor A.
Hey. We know that a content marketing plan or a content strategy isn't common knowledge, right? Everyone doesn't just wake up and say, oh, what's my content strategy, right? Mm-hmm. Some of us may actually have a strategy that we may have gotten from someone else online, or we just may have made up by ourselves and we don't even know that it's an actual strategy.
Right.
So we want to talk about that. And the more strategic you can be with that, the more consistent you can be. And that's the big...
thank you, Lady A.
Thank you.
Beautiful to our First Lady, Pastor Angela, too.
Yes.
Okay.
Love
Shout
you.
out. Yes, we love you all.
I was saying, but you might already have this strategy, right? And you're using it, but you don't know it's a strategy. So we thought it was important to have a discussion around that, answer any questions about what that can do to benefit your business, your brand, your church, whatever you're promoting, right? You want to, that's what I was saying. The more strategic you are, the more consistent you can be, because now you're thinking ahead of the game. You're not having to think in the week, right? You might be 2 weeks ahead, you may be a month ahead, 3 months ahead, right? And the moment you can get to that place, the smoother your business runs for you, the more open you are to have these discussions and really push the ball forward for your business. So that's one of the things we wanted to talk about. And what is this content strategy, right? I mean, really, it's simply the combination of how you distribute the content that you would naturally produce for your business. So whether you're a barber, whether you're, like I said, whether you have a church, whether you have a tech company, or whether you have a t-shirt company, right?
You're a chef.
A chef, right? There's some type of information that you need to get to your clients, your prospects, so that they'll be more educated. They'll have a better understanding of your product or your service, so that they can use that to benefit their lives, right? They say, what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. I literally just saw that quote today. I think one of our friends, I saw that at work actually. That was at work. So, and I was like, oh, that's so important. That's so real. Like, a lot of times a person don't know they need your product or service until they have the need for it. Oh, shout out to my dude. Hey, shout out to Michael. Tell us, this dude is he's in the front lines right now. I was in not EMT, but the fire academy. That's my dude.
There was a time when the Cleat was in fire
Somebody
academy.
Said long time ago.
Also, he was one of your classmates in there.
Yeah, that's the one we studied all the time. Yeah. So he just.
He stuck with.
Yeah, he's stuck. He's a I forgot the terms now. It's when you ride on the truck. You're not the EMT, but but you're EMT. Paramedic. There we go. He's a paramedic now, and I just saw him on Facebook. He had the whole suit. He's suited up.
Definitely front lines.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I want to give a big shout out to him. Thank you, man. Thank you for all you're doing for us, man, and making sure we're all safe, and making sure you're able to get to people who are in need, man.
Yes.
Need people like this dude, and thank you for sticking with it. I knew. See, if it was up to me.
You just learned that,
Listen. That's why there are people like you, Mike. So appreciate you, brother.
That's awesome.
So anyway, we're talking about strategy.
And the quote you just ran across.
Right. Necessity is the mother of invention. And, a lot of times people are going to start searching for your product or your service because they have a need.
Right.
So it's in your best interest. It's in your best interest to have content that is talking about how your product meets their need. So, with our social media, with our website, with our email marketing, whatever the medium is, you want to make sure you have a strategy so that you can create consistency with it. So as you can see, I kind of touched on some of the main areas, but starting with your business, every business, no matter if you're selling oranges, if you're selling copiers, you need to, you need to, no doubt, bro. You need to, no matter what you're selling, you need to make sure that you have a website, right? You need a place, and especially in this day and age,
you need a hub.
Yeah, and you see it more than ever with us all having to be quarantined to our homes. Now, majority of us, the only way we can do business is through online.
Right.
So you see the absolute need for having a place online where people can learn about you and interact with you. So you definitely need a website. And go ahead.
And I was going to say, another important reason that sometimes people don't even think about or maybe even look over to have a website is because you can't solely, my, area of specialty is social media. However, as we can all imagine and experience, before with these platforms, Facebook, i.e. Instagram, sometimes they go down. And when they go down,
Sometimes.
what is your means to communicate to your community, to your clients, to your customers that you have?
Yeah.
You know, so you need to have that website so you can have that constant communication. You can have a way to have that communication link
that
to
central place,
your
right?
customers.
Yeah. So, and that's why I'm starting there, right? Your website should really function as your central hub for where a person get all the information you need to know about you, about your product, your service, about how you're helping them in the world. Okay. Now, with your website, for the longest time, people have created websites that were what I call stagnant, right, or static, and what that simply means is it just stays the way it is, right? You have, here's my about page, here's the services that I have, here's my products that I have, and you know, that's probably it, right? Here's how to contact me, right? So, you know, in our industry, it became what's called a glorified business card. It's just a digital business card. It's nothing really. A person would go to the first time if they wanted to get your contact information. They grab that off of there and they're out of there. They probably never come back to your website. The problem with that is, think about if you had Coca-Cola one time, you had a Coke once, and you never went back to the place where you first got that Coke. It would be hard. You know, you wouldn't know how to locate. It would be hard for you to keep on engaging with that Coca-Cola or enjoying that taste.
Right.
So you need a place where a person knows, okay, this is where I go. But, you know, when I'm busy and I'm doing all these, shout out to my cousin, what's up, brother? You know, when I'm doing all these things, right, when I'm busy, you know, what's going to grab my attention and bring me back to the website? Right. So, you know, we're talking about a static website. Well, you know, when you get into a content strategy, now you start to look at things that you do on your website that drive traffic back to your website.
Right.
So one of the primary ways to do that is with a blog. You know, now a lot of you may think, okay, a blog and a website are different. Well, I challenge you on that. I think a blog, while there are some websites that are solely focused on blogging, which is just, you know, almost like reporting information or news, I think every product or service or every company has some form of blog that they need on their website that can, once again, further educate your clients on your product or service. It can let them know updates. Let's say if you have an app and you may have constant updates you're making on a monthly or weekly basis, you may use your blog for that. But it's a way to make your website switch from being static or stagnant to dynamic, where a person may have come to your website initially just to say, hey, who's this person? You know, what can they do to solve our problem? Now you have a blog that is being distributed beyond the website that brings them back to the website.
And
so
come on, SEO.
Yeah, you know, thank
Blogs
you.
help with SEO too.
Right. So
helps you get seen on Google Analytics.
And to be honest, it really helps in those circumstances, right? When you have, you know, the way that SEO works today is based off of your rich content. So the more dynamic content, the more content that you have on your website that is changing and is constantly being updated, the more better search results you're going to get for your SEO results. Or should I put it this way, you're going to get a better ranking, right? You know, if you're selling T-shirts and you want to be the #1 T-shirt distributor in Orlando, right? You're going to need to produce enough content to get enough traffic to your site. So when someone types in T-shirt company in Orlando, you're going to come up to the top of that ranking because you have so much content out. Okay.
Right.
So let's not get into that down that rabbit hole. But the point I'm making is, you know, part of your content strategy, you want to definitely have a strategy for your website itself.
Right.
And the easiest way to do that is typically through a blog, right? Now, a blog can be made up of written content, or it could be a video blog. A lot of people do video blogs, which is in a lot of ways a lot easier to maintain and to do consistently.
Right.
And you know, once again, it's another way to get people to your site and consuming your stuff. Another way is trainings, right? So you can do some pre-recorded trainings. So if you're a coach, a business coach, if you're an athlete trainer, right? You know, I have some friends that teach, teenagers how to play basketball, right? They're like personal training for teens who are trying to make it into, you know, collegiate level and all that stuff like that, right? So you may want to have your videos and have your content constantly being updated on your website, so
Right.
that these parents of these students who want to use you as a trainer, they can go to one place and find all that information.
And I was
Okay?
going to say another way to present your content on your website is also through podcasting too.
Yes.
In addition to video, and then what was the second one you mentioned?
And just written blog.
Oh, written blog. You
Yeah.
could also podcasts. So.
Yeah, so-
Oh, when you said audio, it made me think of that too.
And that's, and as you can see, what Kim's getting into is the different mediums of content. What's up,
Kevin?
Kevin in the building? Kevin Lawson.
Now you do over that this.
Yeah, this one is a little hard to reach. We're trying to look further back.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
All right, I'll let you say what's up. But what's up, man? Thanks for the shout out the other day, bro.
Yes.
This our dude from college. We went to college with this guy. And
High
he was
school.
Kim went to high school with him.
Some
so-
ghosts?
Yeah, man, it's good to see fam come through. So, you want to.
We're talking
so-
about the different.
so-
I got into the different mediums.
The different mediums,
Yeah.
right? There's different mediums, and all of these platforms we're talking about, there's different mediums and different ways to share that content. But, like I said, you want to start with your website and you want to make it dynamic. And there's several ways, as you can see, to make it dynamic. You want to have a written blog, video blog. You want to, if you can use, like Kim said, if you're podcasting, you can actually have those audio recordings on there.
With your show notes.
Yeah, just the reality is be creative with it, right?
Right.
Do what works for you. You may hate writing, but you can jump in front of your iPhone or your
Record
Android
away.
and just record away.
Right.
Do what works, but you need to be able to create content that that people can consume and want to come back to your website. And here's a little tip that I'll give you: if you are doing audio, podcast, Kim just mentioned show notes. You definitely want to transcribe those podcasts or those audio recordings, because you want, remember we were talking about SEO, right? You want your website to be what we call crawlable, where
Right.
Google's going to look at the content in your website, see that it lines up with the product or service you offer, and it's going to give you a higher ranking. So if you're taking those videos and you're having a transcription underneath it, show notes, right, and you kind of have it summarized, then that's going to be the best of both worlds.
Right.
Think about next time, any of my guys who are big on sports, next time you're on ESPN, check out the layout of all of their articles. You're always going to see a video at the top, and they're going to see content below. It's because they're covering both bases. They want to make sure you can easily get in there, consume that video about whatever trade just happened, whatever play just happened last night, but then they also want to have the written articles so that they can get those rankings and they can, fight that ranking war against, CBS Sports and all of the other ones. So
Right.
just a little tidbit there. All right, that's the website. Jacqueline, what's going
Hey,
on, Jackie? So that's
Websites.
websites. Now, social media, and
Or
I'm sure
get into emails.
email marketing, right?
Yes.
So we're talking about
Anyway.
for whoever just jumping in, we're talking about content marketing strategy or your content strategy.
And why you need one.
And why you need one,
Hey,
right?
Aaron.
So we spent a lot of time talking about the website, because a lot of times people go and they pay for websites and they don't know why they need them, right?
Right.
They just say, man, look, I just know everybody else got one, I need to get one, and I want mine to look good, right? There's a lot of use cases for a just like, we will wave on this one.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Sorry.
This thing don't want us to wave on it.
Yes.
So we ain't waving on that one no more. But there's so many reasons why a person get a website, right? It's your first impression, it's all this
Yeah.
other stuff. That's good. I'm not doubting any of that. But let's make our websites dynamic so people will want to keep coming back and consuming our content, okay? So what else?
And we had a question, because I know before it scrolls away, Jackie wanted to know, she's trying to sell more homes, and she's like, what do you have for me? So for her, well, you need a content strategy. First, if you have a website, you even have a blog for what you do, that will help tremendously with you getting more leads and sales.
Yeah. And then we had a video,
Focus.
was it 2 weeks ago or maybe a week ago, a live where we talked about
Hey, guys.
what do you call it?
Which one?
Branding, the story brand. Story brand.
Oh, story branding. Oh,
Jackie,
yes.
go check out that live. We talked about
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
2 to 3 weeks ago.
2 to 3 weeks ago. We talked about story brand, and this is going to be really important for you because if you want to sell more homes, right, you want to start to get into the psyche of what is causing your clients to want to buy a home right now, right? You want to look at their. We talked about in the story brand. We talked about everyone has what do you call it, challenges that they face when they're looking to purchase a product or when they're out in the market for your particular product. So they got internal needs, they got external needs, and then they have philosophical needs, right? So, you want to look at, we really broke that down and talked about how you want to start to answer those questions that these people they're internally asking themselves, so that when they're looking on social media, when they're on your website, you're literally having a conversation with them because you've done the research.
Right.
So I think, if you start to get into that, especially with this, in this change of
Season
times, right?
we're
The
in.
season that we're in, right? You want to be able to say, okay, what kind of fears and doubts do people have right now with
Pain
purchasing a
points
home?
right now. Yeah.
Right, and then let me talk to those points, not in a way to try to capitalize on the time, but in a way to super serve them and answer their
To
questions.
solve those issues.
Right. And what this is going to do is build rapport with them, and they'll be more willing to hear you out, have a conversation about how you might be able to help them. So I would say go check out that video, start there, and then what happens is, like Kimberly said, now you can take that understanding into your content strategy, because now you're like, okay, you know what, I need to do videos in this season, or I need to go through my email list and just start blasting people that I haven't spoken to in a while to give them some understanding of how I can help them in the season and how I'm empathetic with what they're going through. But if they just look at it from this perspective, they could capitalize.
She
So
said, I will check it out. I do like to tell stories. My clients loves me. That's
hey,
good.
listen, that's the way. If you tell the story they want to hear, it'll never fail. It'll never fail. So I think we have
Another question. Which one has been more effective than others?
Uncle, let me know if you're talking about which medium and what.
I would think he's talking about the medium, and I would go to say it just depends on your target audience and what they are responding to the most.
Yeah.
That you put out.
Most time people are saying video is the way to go, just because it's easier to consume, and people want to do business with people they know, like and trust, right? We always talk about that, right? People want to do business with people who they know, like and trust. So with our clients, the first time, and we just had some clients jump on, they can attest to that. When they most of the time people are doing business with designers and web designers, and they never see their face, they never interact with them, right? So what we do as to solve this problem is we show our faces, right? We do video calls when we don't have to, because we want them to see who they're doing business with, to build that trust and that rapport. So a lot of times video is a great way to do that when you can't just go see them physically, right? Especially in this day and age, right? In this season we're in, it's the next best thing we got.
He said yes, the medium. He was confirming yes, he was talking about the medium.
Yeah, so I would say medium, right now, and Uncle, this changes with times, right? Sometimes it's, there's been times where text, writing long form text was the thing to do, right? But right now we're in a season with video, and I don't see that going away. So
yes.
But back to the overall topic we were talking about, and the avatar builders. Yeah, shout out. Yeah. So jumping back on the topic, we talked about a website, having a content strategy to make that go from be static to dynamic, right? The way you do that is start blogging on there, and you can use the different mediums: video, written, audio, transcribe your audio. Okay, and then email is another one. Now, a lot of us feel like email is dead, and there's really, it's kind of the thing of the past. Well, it's one of those things where it's the necessary. I don't want to say evil, but I was like other word to say. But it's one of those things you just got to do it. You just got to do it, even though you may not feel as effective. And here's why.
Right.
Companies like Coca-Cola, I used them earlier. They're in a place where they're no longer marketing to you. They're just continuing to establish and maintain their brand.
Right.
So, you know, what email marketing does is simply, you know, for anything, it just keeps you in the mindset or in the forefront of someone's mind. If they're checking their emails and on a weekly basis they're seeing your name, your business name, it's just a small conscious interrupt, a small conscious reminder that, hey, you're here, your product and service is still in business, and they can do business with you. I think we're kind of like, there we go.
Oh.
I keep seeing it happen. But you know, they are they are it's a way to stay in front of your clients,
Right.
so that they know that you're still you can still solve their problem. So every once in a while, I know for me, you know, I go to my emails to try to delete what I don't need anymore, right? Because there's so many coming in.
Right.
But every once in a while, if you have an intriguing topic, an intriguing headline, it'll make them want to click on that email, right? And this is an opportunity for you to continue to push your product or service, to continue to, if it's a newsletter, to continue to inform them or educate them on whatever your product or service is. This is just a way to be consistent and show them that, hey, I'm still here.
Right.
I can serve you and help you with whatever you need. And in every email, here's some tips. In every email, you want to always have a call to action, right?
We talked about a call to action about 2 weeks ago.
Listen, we're gonna get some shirts made call to action, because
Yes,
it's
CTA.
it is the way, you know, it is. You can't do anything with any of this content marketing without having a call to action. Think about it. It's just like having the best sales call ever, right? Having the best conversation ever,
Right.
Relationally or sales wise, and then you never say, "Let's go on a date," or "Hey, do you want to buy it?" So the person's like, "Well, okay."
So like, hey
See you
y'all, I
tomorrow.
just made these shirts. And
Yeah, yeah. It's like,
that's
oh,
it. You're not telling them, you know.
and y'all gonna start seeing this online when you're talking about, like, hey guys, go check out, you know. That's a call to action. Call to action is go check out my song, right, or do whatever. But if you're like, man, I made this song, man, you know, oh look at these shirts, they're cool. Yeah, they are cool. Oh, look at my paintings, they're really dope. Yeah, man, you killed it. But what do you want me to do? You want me to buy one of them? Do you, do you want me to share it?
You want my email? Maybe?
Right.
You know.
Right. What do you want?
It's not all sometimes just sales either. Like some call to actions are, hey, let me get your email in exchange for whatever they're going to give you. Like, you know.
Right.
But,
follow us on social media, right?
Yeah.
So
yes, that's annoying. Exactly.
Right. So as you can tell, that's what we're doing here, right?
Hey,
we're coming here to drop knowledge and, you know, have conversations around, you know, branding and marketing. But, you know, throughout this whole conversation, we're like, hey, if you have any questions, go like us here. Go send us an email here, or you know, follow us here, or we'll send you this, or we'll do that, right? There's something we're trying to ask you to do, not because we're trying to be annoying or anything, but we know that, you know, if we never ask, you never make that step. Shout out to Keisha, what's up?
Yes.
So yeah, that's really important. You want to, in your emails, always have a call to action. And whether it be a newsletter, an informative newsletter, or whether it be you pushing a new product or service you have. But email is definitely something you want to continue to do and have a part of your content marketing strategy. So we talked about having blogs and, you know, podcasts and videos on your website. We also talked about an email, having an email campaign that you would do. Now, there's a couple of different ways to approach
That's
email.
a whole nother.
And we're not going to get into it.
A whole nother live with just
I will
email.
just mention the basic, which is like your indoctrination, which is, okay, who I am, why I do what I do, why you want to do business with me, right? So that's one type of email campaign. The other one is a newsletter, right? It's like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's my top products. Here's my top clients. I don't know, right? It's whatever you want to talk about.
Right.
And then you have the sales emails. Hey, this is happening, or an event, invite, right? This is happening on Friday. Oh, hey, this product is on sale for 50% off, whatever. So you want to constantly have those type of emails going out, because once again, it's a way to stay in front of your clients, and you know, it's just healthy content that keeps keep you consistently being in front of everyone else, in front of your target audience. And then the last one, of course, is social media, right? So you want to have a content strategy for
Definitely
social media.
Because everybody's being more social these days, and especially like Cleet said, you know, we're all quarantined at home right now.
Yeah.
Everybody is on social media. I was literally talking to one of my friends earlier, and we were just talking about literally at certain times of day right now, there are people going live all at the same time. Like at 12 o'clock, there's at least 20 people going live.
I know,
at 4 o'clock, there's like 20 people in at nighttime, or you can forget it. There's like 50 people going live all at the same time.
Yeah.
Everybody is on social media right now.
What's up? What's up? Candace.
Hey, fam.
And that's the truth. It is the best time, the best time to get involved, man, and really learn how to do this. Get from behind a rock, like our coach told us, right?
We will forever say that, because we were behind some boulders. Like, no.
You know what I mean? And you know how it is. You got comments and you got thoughts about everything everybody else doing.
Yeah.
As soon as you get in front of this camera, you're like, woo, this thing ain't no joke. This thing.
All you see is like the shadow of you, like you don't see it. Just
yeah. So it is something. But I tell you what, once you make that step, it gets easier and easier week after week.
Yes.
Kim can tell you,
Oh my God.
So anyway, social media. Want to have a strategy for that.
Yes.
And what does a social media strategy look like? Kim, this is her expertise with the Branding Geeks. But the long and short of it is you want to
this is the call to action, okay?
Oh, April, what's up?
April.
All our cool
And I
friends.
said, hey, Brandon came on, Fifi came on.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, God. And it's only this one.
Yeah, we got all these devices, y'all. Oh my gosh. Just April, we're trying to wave at you and then wave and stuff. Just stop. Hey, babe, just
Okay, I just want to wave at the people that be coming
April.
on. I just want to wave. Hey, y'all.
I don't want to work. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Sorry.
So social media strategy, right? You want
Yes.
to there's different ways to do it, right? So we talked about some of these things, doing these things on your website, but the same thing. You want to have posts, right?
Same thing on your social media.
Yeah, you want to have you may not have a full-out blog, but you may have a long post, just kind of telling somebody about your product or your services. Right. You may have you may do those quotes, right? The motivational quotes. You may have something that you do every day. What Kim does for our clients is she does a strategy. She could do it for 3 months. She could do it for a month, and really every
all the devices.
Yeah, for every day she has a particular post that goes out, but it's all strategic, and this is what we're talking about.
Strategic and being intentional. And what I like the most is like having themes. Themes help it. If you have a theme with your strategy, for instance, for 1 month, this is your topic theme. So in that theme, every week you're, posting something about that theme. And then the next month is another theme,
All right, so you take us, for example, if we're talking about...
Contact me, Bree.
Yeah, we're talking about, what you call it, strategy, your content strategy, right? So that would be our theme, and then everything we would post would be surrounded around that. So we'll have a quote maybe talking about, maybe it'd be a statistical post that we do about why you want to have the companies that have a content strategy versus the ones that don't. Mm-hmm. You probably have, you'll have like long posts where you're talking about, maybe we'll give a testimonial of a content strategy we put together for a client, and the before and after. Now, Sumi in the building. What's up? Oh, Henry. Wow, this is.
I want to wave at people, but
Yeah, that thing ain't working over there. What's up, y'all? We're gonna do the physical wave.
Yes. Hey. Hey, Janelle.
But yeah, you want to. So anyway, the point I'm making is when you have a theme for your content strategy, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to want to make sure all of your content, whether it be just a graphical post, whether it be long-term, I keep calling it the wrong thing, but it's long.
Long post?
Yeah, but this is, I don't know, I'm saying it wrong, but a long post, right? Mm-hmm. Short post, whether it be posting. And here's another thing you can do from your Facebook, from your, your website. You can post a quick little excerpt from your blog
Snippet, yeah.
that goes back to the blog post on your website.
Right.
But
Long form content. Yes.
long form. Thank you, Felicia. That was like long.
Well, we got a copywriter in the building.
Long-
Thank you.
Yeah. So your long form content, right?
Felicia Wrights.
You have
At
some
Felicia
people who-
Wrights. I'm sorry, I had to put a plug in there. At Felicia Wrights.
Yes, Felicia Rice. You want to definitely follow her. We've worked with her for years. She's a beast. Okay, she's a
Yes.
beast at what she does. So
You need any
shout
kind
out
of
to
writing
her.
done? At Felicia Wrights. Check her out on Instagram
Mhm.
and Facebook.
Yes, yes
Felicia
indeed.
Felicia Siobhan. Felicia Vaughn
Felicia Bon.
on Facebook, but at Felicia Wrights on Instagram.
Yes, yes indeed. So, but the point I'm making with your social media content strategy, you want to, and with everything we're telling y'all today, you want to distribute it as much as possible. So if you have it on your website, you want to have a version of it on your social media, a version of it in your email, right? This is the last point we want to make, and I want to open it up for questions if anyone have questions, any more questions. But you want to repurpose this whole thing we're talking about in this content strategy. If you hear what we're saying, it's just repurposing the same content. So we use this example of content strategy, right, as the theme, and then we'll have a blog post about it, right? We'll have an email that goes out to our email list talking about content strategy and why you need it. We'll have a quote, a statistical quote about it. We'll have a podcast that we'll do about it. We'll have a Facebook Live that we do about it, right? We'll have all the different forms of content, but they're all talking about the same thing. And
Right.
once again, this is all a strategy to be consistent so that you can stay in the forefront of your prospects, and when they're ready to make that decision, they will make that decision.
Yes.
So, it's vital. I could keep going all day, of course, but I want to kind of stop it here because I know I kind of jumped all over at the different content because there's so many. But I think the overall thing, if y'all take anything from this live today, your content strategy should be something that's very consistent, that is themed, and that hits all of the channels in which to interact with your brand. Okay, you're doing this because you want to build awareness, you want to build anticipation, right? Demand.
Right.
You want to build these things for your products and services. So in order to do that, you have to put content in front of your potential clients that makes them want to come and get their hair done with you, Darnisha, right? Or they want to come and buy your book, Felicia, right? Or you want to, or for Lakeisha, right? You want to continue to put content in front of them that makes them curious. We talked about this last week, right? In the stages of a relationship, there's curiosity, right? It starts with curiosity. Content is going to cause that curiosity.
Yeah.
And once they come in, they're like, okay, you know what, these people,
Make it plain.
these people think they know what they're talking about. Okay, let me listen to them. Right?
Yeah.
Now that we have you in our live, now it's time for enlightenment. So
Yeah.
we got to get you from a place of being curious to saying, okay, Cleet, okay, Kim, all right, I feel you. You know what you're talking about. That makes sense. I think I do need to get a website now. I think I do need to get a strategy now because you broke it down. That is enlightenment. Now they're like, okay, shoot, okay,
Right.
okay, I'm feeling this. Now you got them ready and primed for commitment. Guess what you got to do? Got to ask for the commitment. That's the call to action. So guess what? If you think that this information has been helpful, why don't you go ahead and reach out to us at contact us at the Branding Geeks. We'll have a free evaluation which you will sit down, learn exactly what you need for your website or for your logo or your graphic or whatever you need for your brand or for your marketing. We'll sit down with you for 30 minutes, talk about it, get it figured out, and then we'll get a plan of action on how we can move forward. That is the call to commitment that you gotta have to finish the whole thing. It's like me, it's taking Kim out, on a date. It's a great date, but I never asked for that second date. We wouldn't be married, right? So you have to, there's the stages. She was curious, when your boy was back in his day modeling, when your boy was modeling, she was curious, and then enlightenment happened, when we had first interactions due to some of our good friends. And then, you know, we went on a date, and then we went down the road of commitment.
Yes.
But that happened in stages, so.
Yes. And then I like to, you know, tag on a bit, jump your vibe, you know. When you mentioned consistency, you know, with doing all that, remain consistent. Because, you know, the more consistent you are with your content strategy, the more trust you're going to build with your community, with your clients, with your customers.
Yes.
So
I had an interview the other day with a company called The Center, and we talked about how in 2008, when the economy, you know, when we had the economy crash, there were people who jumped on to podcasts. It's what, 12 years ago, right?
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, they jumped. Well, yeah, 12 years ago, they jumped on the podcast,
Yeah.
and you know, it was, and just like a situation like this, there were so much more time that you can use to develop yourself, and they jumped on podcasts, and they did whatever it took to learn how to use podcasts, and they stayed consistent. So they did a podcast, whether it was every week or every day or every month, and they did it from 2008 until now. And if you go across the board, these people are all multimillionaires and and it's not about being a millionaire as much as it is about being successful and being in a place of influence where you can help others.
Because they're like the number one in their industries right now.
Yes, and they didn't do anything special. All they did every week, they got, like we're doing with these lives, they got in front of their mic and they talked about a particular topic to help and share their genius, and they were consistent with it. So this information we're telling you, it absolutely works.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself after this time that was so trying to our entire country and to our entire world. Imagine you coming out of this so much better than you were before.
Come on.
Simply because you just took the time to say, you know what, I'm gonna make this content. I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna literally stop looking at ways to make more money and look at ways to make more impact, so that as I make impact, people will now know, like, and trust me and want to and use my business and my services and my products to further their life.
Right. Somebody said, hey, I love the knowledge you guys give us. Thank you so much, Kershaw. That's someone from high school.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yes. Candace says, okay, preach it. Felicia said, come on, this is good. Asking can be so uncomfortable. Asking can be so uncomfortable. Coming from me, I mean, Cleet would say he's uncomfortable, but to me, he's more comfortable than I am. You know, it's a daily fight for me. So trust me, you know, it's a journey for all of us. So, you know, I can totally understand. And I know we also had a question
AP
from Al. He said, I just delved into the social media world. I know I'm late, but which do you believe is more suitable to market myself for my New York live services that I offer? Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And honestly, it depends on where you can find your target. So those who will be needing New York life insurance services.
Yeah, it's very similar to what we talked to Jackie about earlier. I think for whether you're on social media, whether it's on your website, you really want to look at the fears and the doubts and the eternal thoughts that your potential clients are
Going
having.
through right now. Yeah.
Think about it. If I wanted a Coke right now, and I use Coke because I just want to be consistent with that example, and someone would just send me a message like, yo, I got a case of Cokes for a 12-pack of Coke for 50% off. I would be like, how did you know that I wanted Coke right now? It's not even a question. I'm just like, yo, okay, here's my card. Let me get it right now. So think about that scenario, and that's a very visual way of how, or a very extreme way of how it can happen. But Albert, that's what you're looking to do with your clients. You want to start to say, okay, what kind of internal thoughts do I have about purchasing life insurance right now, based off of what we're going through in the society right now? Start to survey some of your friends and family, asking the same questions.
Right.
You start to take notes on that, and then you look at making organic posts that's natural, that's solving and talking about those problems. You know, and then also when you're in these sales calls or these conversations, you start to listen for those things and answer those. A person in every sales call, a person is going to give you
their
pain points.
Yeah.
So you just gotta listen to them. They're like, man, you know, insurance, I just can't afford it, man. You know, insurance, I can't afford it.
So bing, affordability.
It's like, okay, well, you keep saying you can't afford it. You know, it's only $15 a month to have this kind of plan.
Right.
What? Oh, I thought it was, okay, what do I sign? Right? So you want to think about that, reverse engineer this, right? It's not just like, hey, look, hey, you need insurance, get insurance. It's not. If it was that transactional, then we would all be ultra successful in whatever career we had. There's some digging you have to do, and most of the time, and keep in mind, a person's going to say no or avoid your brand 8 times before they actually take the time to sit down and say, so what did Brandon Geeks talking about again? So we're not, some of you, we're not expecting you to really say, you know what, okay, I think these guys know what they're talking about. Until our 8th live that you jumped on. And we understand that. That's part of the process.
Yeah.
But we have to stay consistent, because guess what? If we stopped after 4, we missed that opportunity. We could have had you as a client, as a person that we would be able to learn from in the future, and you learn from us in the future. So, that's hopefully that answers your question. But that's a good question, though. I mean, whether it's insurance, whether it's homes, I think everything can still be sold based off of whether a person's getting a stimulus or not. Like, people still have money, and now we're definitely sensitive to those who lost their jobs, and we're praying for them. But there are individuals who are still working and still can make decisions in this season, and you want to find them and tug them a little, or nudge them a little to say, hey, listen, don't hold back, don't just store up right now. This is your opportunity to kind of move forward and take advantage of some things.
Yes, appreciate the insight. No problem.
Got you, bro.
Were there any other questions for the night? We don't want to keep you all any longer. I know we went a little longer than our usual time. Yeah, we would like.
Yeah, that content marketing is deep, man.
It's
not deep, it's just a lot to talk about.
It is a lot.
It's a lot to talk about.
We could be here for hours talking about content. Are there any more questions? Any going once, going twice?
And one time for shameless plug, Open for Discussion podcast. My boy Bert, he's the one to ask the last question. If you've never heard of it, check it out on Facebook, Spotify, and all of that. If you go O4D, it's Open for Discussion. This podcast for Black males living in America, and it's giving you our perspective on that experience. Fatherhood, the whole 9. It's really cool.
And
we have fun.
And it's real funny.
Yeah. Goofy. This dude's goofy, man. So
thank you, Uncle Kev. He said good job.
Thank Uncle Kev for your consistency and showing up and supporting us. We love to do this, and we're going to do it. We're going to keep coming. Be consistent. So,
not seeing any more questions, so just wanted to say thank you all for joining us tonight on this week's live. What's your content strategy? Thank you so much for joining us. We know you all could be doing so many other things, like joining other people's lives right now, because there's like 10 million other lives going on right now.
Okay.
We do have a question. Let's see.
Question.
When it comes to content, how much is too much? I would answer that saying, do what's realistic for you to keep a consistent schedule with. Posting 5 times a day, is that going to be realistic for you to keep that schedule?
For those who have a 9 to 5, are you working?
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then I mean, think about what would be annoying to you, right? Right? If a person is every hour, they're talking about the same thing. Think about if we did this live every hour, and we're just drilling a hole in about this content. Strategy. Like, okay, I got you the first 3 lives, man. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. You're a consumer, so that's a great litmus test to say, you know what, this is too much, right? The same thing with emails, right? You don't want to. If you know that there's certain emails you're ignoring in your email, inbox because it just comes too often, then think about that. It's like, let me not. Maybe I just need to do an email once a week,
Right.
The key is just being consistent. You want that person every time they look. Like I take ET for example. I always know Mondays this guy's going to drop Thank God It's Monday video, right? I didn't, now he's at a point where he's doing stuff daily, but the default was, ET the hip hop preacher. I know that every Monday he's going to try to come on and motivate.
Thank God it's Monday.
Right. So, but that was his consistent piece. It was once a week, So it's just really about what you can sustain, like Kim said.
What's realistic for you to sustain?
Yeah, and then and then secondly, do what won't be annoying, right?
Yeah, and then not annoying that in terms of content, like especially with your brand, not just posting like info and not sharing anything about like your lifestyle, you know, your husband and everything like that, because people nowadays want to see like the lifestyles of the owners of the company or the CEOs of the company, like how they live, you know, how their families, you know, they TikToking on there, you know, presidential candidates over there TikToking, you know what I'm saying? So people want to see that side too, and not just like information, sell all the time. They want to see the human side as well. So
okay, like this strategy.
Oh my
I see what you did there. Okay.
So I think that will all help, you know, keep you consistent and well grounded with your content. But in terms of information overload, try to keep a consistent schedule that will be realistic for you.
That's good. That's good. That's great.
And your lifestyle schedule.
Yeah, be real. Be authentic with the people. They love it.
Yes.
All right. CTA the people.
Yes. People want authenticity, Brandon. Exactly.
Yeah, man. Come on now.
Keep it real. So Martin.
I keep it real.
Sorry, we like Martin. You know.
Sorry.
Nerds. We like Nikes.
CTA the people.
CTA the people. Good stuff. You want me to close it out? Anywho, thank you all again. This is my second close.
You know?
For those of y'all who go to church, this is my second close.
We're on our fifth close, really.
Anywho, thank you all so much for joining this week on our weekly live. We hope you all, we hope that this was valuable to you. And don't forget, if you have not already, please share this live. We feel that, this will be beneficial for anyone who hears and who has a business. If you are not following us and just happen to catch us, in your feed, please follow us. We're at The Branding Geeks on Facebook and Instagram. Some of you are even joining us on our personal profiles. Thank you so much for already following us on our personal profiles. But go on over to our business page at The Branding Geeks on Facebook and Instagram. You can also check out our website, thebrandinggeeks.com. And if you do have any more questions, feel free to hit us up. You could hit us up at our email, contact us at thebrandinggeeks.com, and you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation with us if you have more, in-depth questions, or if you want to, work with us as well.
I forgot to call actually on the website. I can't think of it, but it's a button. If you like, man, what's that email again? Just go to the brandinggeeks.com and click the button.
Our contact information is on there as well.
Yeah, you click the button, you can fill out a form, and you'll be on the call with us in no time.
He said y'all learn from the best at closing.
You know it. You know it. That's all right.
Exactly.
That's all right.
Well, thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. We hope everyone, like we said at the beginning of this live, we hope you all have a better than ever week. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay out these Rona streets.
Stay out these Rona streets and stay connected.
Oh.
All right?
Okay, with the clothes. With 3 C's, okay.
Oh, Lord.
All right, I didn't know you were bringing that into the live. Okay.
Bye, y'all.
One more time, how you doing? You do what?
Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected.
Oh, I like that. I need to put it in our emails like that.
All right, y'all. Bye.